And Tom Morrell, when the chairman of the Public Works Committee, we're meeting.
Needs a microphone.
October 6th. Actually, not the state postal chambers. Most, some are, some aren't.
Hold on a second, Tom.
Here we are at 6 o'clock this evening. So we're going on with this, and that's what we're doing. So with that, I'm calling the meeting order, and item number 1 is, or 2, actually, review the DPW report.
Thanks, Tom.
Joe?
I am here, and I do want to apologize to the members of the committee. I did send out the wrong report. If you checked your email, I did send out the correct report this afternoon. We'll get this online yet this evening. I'll touch on a few high points. Buildings and grounds, we've been working with the contractor at the aquatics facility on winterizing and learning that procedure. We're about 95% complete there. We do continue to work with the contractor on a few things that need to be taken care of yet. The landscaping on the in the park area is not acceptable, and we continue to work with them on that. And there's a few items that were not installed because of manufacturing delays with COVID, and those items we're still waiting for them to arrive. With our engineering department, the flood modeling along the Wisconsin River near the roundabout at the DOT office building is complete. We're pursuing some minor revisions with staff, the DNR and the Department of Administration to potentially do some landscaping work in there that in the event of a 100-year storm event, we won't have as much mitigative efforts. Instead of installing 1,000 sandbags and having everybody there all day to do it, we can make some minor changes, we believe, and reduce that effort. But we do need to get permits from the DNR in order to do so, and so we're continuing to work on that. The rail spur plans for the rail access to Metalco are now at 99% complete. Our Washington Street construction project, all of the underground work is complete there, and we're now prepping for pavement. That work should happen in the next couple weeks, following then with final restoration there.
That it, Joe?
Nope, I've got one or two other things I wanted to just catch on.
Go ahead.
With the,
Different now we're doing it.
yeah, I apologize. It's, when you're not face to face, it can be a little challenging.
I know.
I wanted to mention, in last month's report, I covered a little bit about the chip seal work that took place, and I want to publicly commend the street department staff from the top to the bottom. We did a fantastic job. We managed to get 40% more area chip sealed this year in 30% less time. That's a real cost savings to the public, and it really allows us to get more material down. That was primarily due to some changes in our preparation and really concentrating all of those activities in regions of the city rather than jumping all over. So I want to make a public thank you to our staff for that excellent work. Wastewater, we're working on preparing for some upcoming phosphorus limits that are likely to result in some modifications to the plant and some costs. We've been working with a consulting engineer to perform some of that investigative work, and we're to the point now where we're looking at doing some scale testing. Once that's done, we'll have some recommendations for the Wastewater Commission and the council. At Tom's request, he was looking for some budget highlights. The preliminary budget proposals have been submitted to the mayor and the finance director for review. We've had a number of staff meetings and have been discussing priorities along with limitations of available funding. Public Works has developed its budgets in effort to continue to provide primarily the same level of service. This, of course, results in some challenges as the rate of streets and infrastructure deterioration exceeds the rate of replacement, so funding for maintenance continues to be more demanding. Details will be presented during the Finance and Property budget meetings once the proposed budget is finalized. But Public Works construction projects for 2021 are currently proposed as follows. 11th Street from Apricot to Washington, that's a full reconstruction project. 15th Street from Apricot to Norton, also a full reconstruction project. Jefferson Street from 25th Avenue to about 750 feet east. That's a surface reconstruction with some minor utility work. 18th Avenue South from Russell Street to West Grand. That's a full reconstruction. The completion of the West Jackson Street design from the Riverview Expressway to the Jackson Street Bridge. We started that this year and finishing it in 2021. Concrete joint sealing on Plover Road. Concrete pavement patching in various locations. And the Lion Park flood mitigation project that I just talked about moments ago. And I think that concludes it. I'll have the full report online for anyone that wishes to review it.
Thank you, Joe. Good job, and hopefully, I guess, in between, I'll just say for myself, between now and when the budget's approved, that maybe the committee can meet and go around and see what some of these projects are. That's good. I guess with the COVID thing, we don't know. That can put item number 3, review assessment reports, public outreach, and discuss next steps.
Sure, so I can cover that. Last month, the committee directed staff to include this item on the agenda for the next several months until we come to some conclusion there. So in this last month, during the month of September, the city website has been updated to include a web page with the title, City's Review of Funding Options to Offset Street Construction and Maintenance Costs. You can find that on the home page of the city's website at wirapids.org. The page includes a summary of the options described in the report presented at the September 1st, 2020 Public Works meeting, a video by Mayor Blazer, a link to the full report, and a brief survey that we would really appreciate the public participating in. In order to take the survey, one must include their name and address. We'd like to get that survey concluded in the month of October so that we can come back in the month of November at the November Public Works meeting with the results of that survey, and hopefully at that time some staff recommendations for next steps and just guiding the process to proceed.
What's that?
Joe, have you had,
I don't know if I missed something. Maybe I missed something.
well, this is Dean Benjamin. I was just asking Joe if you had any response from the,
Go ahead.
I was just asking if you had any responses on the survey yet. I saw that you were supposed to fill it out by the 19th of October.
Yeah, so we have not reviewed any of the responses so far. There have been a few comments on the city's social media, which we'll also take into account. Our hope is that those folks will fill out the survey so that we're looking at all those results at one time.
Is Jake not on?
Okay, is that okay with Dean? Okay?
Yes, I just, how, basically, are we reaching out to the public at all, or just on the website through Facebook? Is that the main way to get people to look at it? Okay.
Also, this is Shane. Also, I've confirmed with community media that they are playing that video throughout on public access. And, but yeah, social media is the biggest way right now to notify people.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything? Up there. What? Oh, I'm good. Okay, everybody's good, then we'll move on to item number 4. And that's the review request. Correspondence, the DOT, state elected officials to enumerate the reconstruction of A Street. And I think, Joe, you're the one who negotiates, so
Thank you.
you know what to believe in line.
Yes, we've had this item on the referral list for several years, and staff has and continues to work and communicate with the DOT and our state elected officials to, an effort to enumerate 8th Street South for reconstruction. 8th Street South continues to deteriorate to a condition the city believes warrants full reconstruction. In 2016, Alderperson Rayom requested a referral item to keep this effort moving forward. Since then, staff have had several meetings with DOT representatives related to the condition of 8th Street South to promote reconstruction and have included it in the city's capital improvement plan. As a connecting highway, the reconstruction of 8th Street South requires the DOT to enumerate the project, and to date, the DOT has not done so. After seeing some newer, better riding local highways rebuilt by the DOT and others enumerated for rehabilitation where ride quality is much better and the economic impact is minimal compared to 8th Street, I sent the following correspondence to Senator Teston, Representative Krug, and DOT Secretary Thompson. It's not real long, so I'm going to read that. Dear Senator Teston, Representative Krug, and Secretary Thompson, as you know, the City of Wisconsin Rapids has been requesting cooperation with the DOT for State Highway 13, 8th Street South, to be reconstructed for several years. It has come to my attention that State Highway 54, from just west of Swanson Road to Seneca Road, has been enumerated for 2024 for a surface replacement project due to pavement deterioration. I had attached the DOT concept definition report and that cover letter with this letter to them. While I'm glad to see work proposed in the region, I'm concerned that 8th Street South has yet to be enumerated as a reconstruction project. State Highway 73 was built around 2005, 15 years ago, has a pavement surface rating of 76, and sees about 5,000 vehicles per day. State Highway 13 in Wisconsin Rapids was built in 1969, 51 years ago, and has a much lower pavement surface rating of 47 from Whitrock north to the expressway, 71 from Whitrock south to the city limits, and sees between 25,000 and 30,000 vehicles per day. In addition to the failing pavement structure, the traffic signals and utilities under State Highway 13 are obsolete. We Energies disrupted 8th Street businesses and the traveling public with lane and intersection closures and restricted business access for most of the summer of 2019 and for several weeks in 2020, having to replace their aged gas main. Other utilities will be required to do the same in upcoming years. Disruption during a full utility and surface coordinated reconstruction project is bad enough, but a lack of coordination with utilities replacing their assets independently as needed can result in years of access issues and disruption. Long-term disruptions are devastating to business and hazardous for the traveling public and utility workers. This can be avoided with a reasonable level of planning and commitment with enumeration for the reconstruction of 8th Street South. I believe we have a duty as public servants to facilitate this project. It is critical for 8th Street South from the expressway to the south city limits to be reconstructed with utility coordination as soon as possible. 8th Street South is a critical corridor and is essential for the economic stability of the region. I, along with other city officials, would like to meet with you and DOT officials to discuss how 8th Street South, with an end-of-life pavement structure, poor ride quality, and high economic impact to the economy of central Wisconsin, can be enumerated. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you or your team about how we can facilitate a discussion.
Thank you, Joe, and that's a long overdue, I think, request that the state is what we can do. It's a very big part of Wisconsin Rapids. 8th Street is, and somehow and it's going to have to be redone. And unfortunately, I'm probably the only one that's old enough to walk down that thing without curb and gutter. Because I grew up in the 60s, so I grew up with that. Oh, there was. And then when curb was in, it was slanted off to whatever, the pit bank. So, yeah, we can talk about it. Time to redo this thing with what it is. Somehow it has to be redone. It's a big cost item, but we have to do it, and it has to be done in the right way for the least impact that we can do it for businesses. We have to do it. We're tying up chunks and whatever. The gas pipelines went in, tearing things up. This all should have been done. It's just, and so that's just my commentary, and I guess if anybody else has anything to say, they can, but 8th Street is a disaster waiting to happen. It's going to collapse under everybody. So if anybody else has anything, they can jump in if they want to. Nobody is, then we'll go on to item number 5. Thank you, Joe, for sending that letter. I have to say that.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Item number 5, consider a revision of the parking ordinance to allow additional street parking on 12th Street immediately south of Chestnut Street. Joe or whoever wants to take it or whatever.
Yeah, this is Joe Eichstead. So St. Vincent's Depaul Church and School within the last year or two has made some modifications to their campus property area, specifically with the main entrance to their building off of 12th Street. And they requested from the city to modify some of the parking because of their new driveway. It's kind of a horseshoe driveway, and doesn't necessarily align with pre-existing yellow paint on the curb and the corresponding parking ordinances that are in effect. So the document that was provided in the packet identifies the ordinance provisions that would be changed. Basically, if I can summarize the text and the change, on the east side of 12th Street, moving south from Chestnut, there would be 50 feet of no parking that would remain, again on the east side, followed by 70 feet of parking, which is currently restricted today. So that would allow for a few additional cars to park there. And then subsequent to that would be the continuation of 120 feet to a point 350 feet south that's currently restricted during certain periods of the day. And that would remain in effect. So really the net change is 70 feet of additional parking space directly in front of the church entrance, the old church entrance. that is on the east side of 12th Street. Based upon our review, I don't see any issues with the recommendation to change the ordinance to allow the parking changes.
Hey, this is Jake, may I speak?
Yes, you can, Jay, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So my question would be during the school day, buses are coming and going, is this gonna continue to be restricted so that they have room to pull in and people won't be parked there?
So the 70 feet is identified as just normal parking, not restricted for school days.
Okay, so when the buses, this wouldn't be in the way of buses when they go up on that street, correct?
Not from my understanding, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jake, I didn't think of that. So, we have a few of those. Yep, thank you for that. Committee, anything else? Otherwise, committee, what would your wishes be?
This is Dean, move to approve the recommendation from the,
Say that. Committee, if there's nothing else, we'll vote on that. All in favor, respond by aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed? 3-0, is my understanding is, with that, we'll go to review approval, refuse of referral list. Let's go with that. Isn't it out of time?
So I think everybody has the referral list in their packet. I don't think we have anything specifically on the referral list to remove. I do anticipate, as we discussed, item number 10, evaluate and discuss methods of funding street reconstruction. Next month, we'll be prepared to have a report of the results of the survey and some general recommendations. I also anticipate addressing item number 2, develop a street resurfacing program separate but complementary to the chip seal and street replacement program. I believe that should be wrapped up and ready to present next month. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to add, or I don't think there's anything to remove.
And if there's nothing else, somebody chime in if there is before we turn this off. If there is nothing else, I would think to remind everybody to stay safe, and there's a pandemic that's out there. You have to work with it and try to beat it. So with that, item number 7 is adjourned. I'll move we.
Tom?
What's that?
Excuse me, this is Dean. At the Finance and Property meeting, they mentioned that our next meeting would be on Election Day, and they moved to have it at a different date, so I thought maybe I'd bring that up, that we might want to consider that as well.
We'll look at that. Okay, we'll look at that.
Thanks.
And because right now, we're gonna motion to adjourn, so all in favor, respond by aye.